Thank you very much, and welcome to the City Commission Monday, May 4th, 2020 virtual commission meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Here.
Fournier.
Here.
Hammond.
Here.
Kraft.
Here.
Menser.
Here.
Voorhees.
Here.
Okay. At this time, we'd like to welcome everyone to the virtual meeting and remind everyone that we are meeting via teleconference because of the COVID-19 state of emergency and pursuant to the governor's executive order. People are joining us, the public are joining us through Zoom or through YouTube Live. There will be opportunities for public participation at both the beginning of the meeting and at closer to the end of the meeting. And we will give instructions on how to participate in that section closer to. Does anyone else have any announcements, acknowledgements, communications, and reports? Hearing none, we'll move to adoption of the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented. Support.
Roll call, please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Fournier.
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Kraft.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 6, public participation. If you are on the call via Zoom, you have the ability to participate. We ask that you give your first name and we will put everyone in a line of who wants to participate. When you're called to participate, we ask that you give your full name, that you give us your address, and that you are mindful of our 3-minute participation rule. Is there anyone on the call that would like to participate? Hearing none, we'll close public participation, move to agenda item number 7. Administrative responses to issues or questions raised during the previous meetings.
We've had no issues or questions raised during the previous meeting.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 8, approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes for regular meeting, city meeting on Monday, April 20th, and special meeting on Monday, April 27th. Support.
I'll second it.
Very good. Roll call, please.
Fournier.
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
Kraft.
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to general business. Item number 9A, the public hearing to consider the City of Mount Clemens proposed 2020 and 2021 fiscal year budgets and 2020 tax year millage rates. Motion?
Motion to open the public hearing to consider the proposed 2020 and 2021 fiscal year budget and millage rates.
Do I hear a support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Campbell. Is there any discussion? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. During my first week on this job, back when we could still meet with people in person, I met with each member of the City Commission. And one of the things we discussed was the budget. Because I didn't come on board until very late in the budget process, I told you that I would have little opportunity to influence the budget. And further, because we had not had an opportunity yet to do a strategic planning process, we really couldn't budget for the commission's goals and objectives either. So I suggested that we treat the initial budget as an interim budget with the intention that we would start over with the goal of adopting a revised budget by September 30th. That was actually before the COVID-19 emergency declaration, before the governor's any of the governor's executive orders in regard to COVID-19, before the closing of City Hall, and before we sent most of the City Hall staff to work from home. It was long before we started to realize the pandemic was going to be costly to the city, both in terms of expenditures and especially in terms of revenue lost. We still do not have a very good handle on exactly how expensive it's going to be. In a conversation with one commissioner last Thursday, I realized how uncomfortable commissioners are with adopting an annual budget under these circumstances. While trying to explain again that it's only an interim budget, it occurred to me that we really do not need expenditure authority for the entire fiscal year if this is just an interim budget to get us through the first quarter. So I'm proposing to only ask for expenditure authority through September 30th. Obviously, since this didn't occur to me until last Thursday afternoon, we have not had time to prepare a document that reflects just one quarter's operations. It's not simply a matter of dividing by 4. Many of our expenditures do not occur evenly throughout the fiscal year, and we have to take that into account. For example, I don't expect to do any snow plowing during the first quarter, but we'll probably do more lawn mowing during that quarter than any other quarter of the year. It will take us a few days to put together a budget for the first quarter, so you're still looking at an annual document today. Over the next week and a half, we will prepare the budget resolutions. That's the version of the budget that actually gets adopted by the City Commission. And we will adjust those to only grant expenditure authority through September 30th. Tax rates, however, must be adopted for the full fiscal year, even when we're adopting an interim budget that only covers 3 months. It's because we can't levy just part of our taxes in July and come back and levy the balance later. Cliff and I have made many minor revisions to the original document you saw last Monday, and we provided commissioners with a working copy of that on Friday. We will continue to tweak it prior to the next meeting. Administration does still stand by the original tax recommendation, which was to levy the maximum permitted under state law, which totaled 21.7921 mils, with 19.6915 going to the general fund. However, we're very much aware that some commissioners would like to reduce the millage. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting most of our taxpayers, especially our small businesses, and there is a desire to give some relief. In the discussion that occurred during the work session, the majority of the commission appeared to favor reducing the millage enough so that most people will be paying the exact same city taxes, or very nearly the exact same city taxes as they paid in the current year. And that would be a total of 21.5135 mils. For most people, that'll mean that they'll see something very similar within pennies of what they saw last year on the city portion of their taxes. However, the city is not even the majority of the July bill. The other taxing units are more of that than we are, and the city isn't on the December bill at all. Actions the City Commission can take to reduce tax rates only impact the city tax levies. The city has no control over the amounts levied by other jurisdictions that we collect for. We have an open public hearing. It's time to take comments from the public. The commission will take no action at this meeting other than to close the public hearing when there's no longer any members of the public wishing to comment. The vote on the budget and on the millage will occur in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any members of the public who wish to comment on this, the issue that's on the floor, which is our proposed 2020, 2021 fiscal year budgets and 2020 tax year millage rates? Patrick, can I ask you if we have anyone, do we have anyone currently on the call that isn't either a staff member or a commissioner? Okay, so I'll give everybody one more opportunity to comment. Hearing none, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing on the 2020-21 city millage rate and the annual budget.
Support.
Okay, and roll call, please.
Crap.
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond.
Yes.
And Menser says yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Menser.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Item 9B, BS&A online services. Is that Commissioner, I'm sorry, City Manager?
Aye.
Yes, we need a motion, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Let's see. Sorry.
Motion to approve the Mount Clemens purchase of online services for BS&A building department at a cost of $4,140 plus the annual cost of $2 per permit.
Support.
Okay, does anyone have any questions or comments?
I think this is a great thing. I think it's going to be wonderful to have some of this automated, make it easier for the residents and for the builders and the contractors that are sure to utilize this service.
I agree. It's a great step forward.
Thank you, Brian Tingley.
You're welcome.
Ryan, do you want to say anything more about this?
Just that it's, another step in terms of increasing our customer service capabilities. I was actually looking at doing this. I got the quote prior to the pandemic. So it's not necessarily in response to that, but in light of the pandemic, it certainly is going to be another tool that we can use, an online digital tool to improve our customer service capabilities.
Very good. Does anyone else have any further questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we will roll call, please.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes. Okay, agenda item 9C, we're considering a strategic planning proposal. Would anyone like to move on that, please?
Okay. Move to consider a strategic planning proposal as presented. There you go.
Very good. Very good. And would anyone like to support that motion? Thank you. Roll call, please.
You
I'm
gonna
sorry.
discuss?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry. City Manager Johnson, would you like to, talk through the details of this proposal?
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. Uh, the issue of strategic planning first came up during my initial interview with the City Commission. First came up for me in Mount Clemens during my initial interview. It's obvious from discussions I've had with some of you that you've been discussing it among yourselves long before that. I did discuss it with most of you during our one-on-one meetings back when we still could meet in person. Strategic planning is simply the process by which an organization explicitly identifies its vision, mission, values, goals, and objectives. While that doesn't sound like such a big deal, and when you see the finished document, it doesn't look like such a big deal, but it's incredibly important for a local government where members of the leadership team often have very different ideas, different goals, different objectives. And when you have to vote on them and make them clear, you're telling staff exactly where you stand and setting targets that staff works towards throughout the year. Because of the state emergency, I put this off for a while because it was pretty difficult to imagine how to do one of these sessions when we can't even meet in the same room. However, putting it off has consequences. I mean, you've already seen a budget prepared with no consideration to the goals and objectives of this commission because the staff who prepared it don't know what those goals and objectives may be. So I'm proposing that we proceed in spite of the state of emergency. I've discussed this at length with Dr. J.P. Pat Piskalich, who's director of the Public Affairs Research Laboratory and director of the Master of Public Administration program at Oakland University. Pat and his organization have assisted many communities with strategic planning, and he submitted a proposal for Parle to assist us, which is attached. And he's prepared to do this remotely if necessary using the various tools that we have available, such as SurveyMonkey and Zoom and a few others that he has at his disposal. If it becomes feasible to meet in person, we've talked about possibly using the Oakland University facility in Mount Clemens. The proposal, depending on exactly how we proceed, should cost no more than $2,000, could be less. I'm recommending that we engage Oakland University's Public Affairs Research Laboratory to assist the City of Mount Clemens with strategic planning.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Johnson?
Yes. You talked about the leadership team. Did you include department heads in this?
Yes. Department heads normally take part, but their input is somewhat secondary to city commissioners.
I would say this is extremely important. We have talked about this for some time, and we need a document, a current document that we can actually all agree upon, or at least agree that that's the best we can do as a group. And so I think it's great that we're moving ahead. It is important, extremely important. One question though, we did do this before and it wasn't always followed through on like it should have been. So I'm hoping this one is different.
I think it will be different.
But you chose Oakland University?
The last time you did it with SEMCOG.
Correct. So is there a reason why you chose to go with Oakland and pay for it versus working with SEMCOG?
Well, SEMCOG is really not doing this kind of thing anymore. I've talked to them probably about 3 or 4 times about it, and they're interested in what we're doing, but they didn't seem to be prepared to actually take the lead and provide the kind of service that they did. I believe that was about 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, at least.
And the truth is that we did not follow through on hardly anything, possibly nothing, that came out of that process. But I think there was a lack of faith in the process by the leadership at the time.
Yes, I hope this becomes a very working document, one that we refer to often, and I'm really looking forward to the process. So,
I've been through this several times. The process itself isn't always pleasant, but the result is always useful.
great.
In my experience with strategic planning, it's really the responsibility of the entire, of the entire entity to really gather as much buy-in to this process and to the outcome as possible, and to make sure that we're holding our organization to what was agreed upon. And I think, I mean, we've seen what can happen in term when that doesn't happen. So in other words, it was, like you said, not much faith in the process. And so, or what was the outcome. And so, we put it on a shelf to some extent. And so instead of, it's going to be an always evolving document. They're never stagnant, or they at least shouldn't be. When circumstances change, like a global pandemic, sometimes you have to readjust your goals or your values. So I think that it's really important for everyone who is going to be involved in the process to understand that, this is going to be our navigation, so to speak, for the next, several years. And it helps unite us as a team, and it helps unite us with common goals, so that way we can move the organization forward. And I really, truly believe that that's the only way we'll move the city forward. So I'm really glad to see this.
Although you said that the department heads are secondary to this process, I think that they're going to play an integral part, because not all of us commissioners understand all of the aspects of the business. For example, we can talk about the utilities department, the water treatment plant, the water filtration plant. There was a suggestion made several meetings ago that maybe we wanted to consider selling that. I don't see that we could make that kind of decision without the department head and the two supervisors of those plants there. Their input would be integral. So if we're going to have these meetings or these discussions, I think it's seriously important that we have the department heads attend and give their input also.
Well, I absolutely agree with that. The department heads need to be there. They need to help influence your choice of goals and objectives, to keep things realistic, to keep you aware of what we're actually capable of doing, and to keep you aware of what the legal environment is, what we have to do, what regulatory agencies govern a lot of what we do. But when it comes down to actually voting on what the goals and objectives are, only the commission can do that.
Does anyone else have any questions or input?
I know, Mayor Kropp, when I was at First National Bank, we had what we called a 5-year plan, basically strategic planning. And what we would do is, obviously, the first meeting, it was long ranged, but then we would meet either yearly or every 18 months and to tweak it a little bit, because obviously, times change, situations change, revenue changes. And I hope that this document will be something that we can certainly look forward to and use as for leadership, but then also look at it on a periodic basis, because sometimes things just don't work, So I hope that we can do that.
I think that's a really good input, Glenn. I know, at our business, we have, they look at the company goals at their weekly meeting, but they also, have quarterly meetings that are specifically goal, meetings that how are we doing at this? How are we, where are we falling? And you're right. Sometimes it's like, wow, that really didn't work. Let's try something different. I mean, I think that's what sometimes in government, we're such a large organization, when things aren't working, because we don't meet and we don't have timely, interventions, one would say, sometimes it snowballs into a bigger failure than maybe if we cut it off before. So I think you're right. And I hope that during the strategic planning, we as a group decide, what type of evaluation of how are we going to measure the goal of, and when are we going to check on these things, be it quarterly, be it, every 6 months. So I think with all of our experiences with this, keeping that in mind is really imperative.
Right.
I have a question for Brian. I believe that we last updated the master plan in 2016, early 2016. Aren't we required by law to update that every 5 years, especially if we want to qualify for things like, redevelopment ready communities? And would we be updating the master plan also then in 2021? Or is that due this year, 2020?
Yeah, the state only requires that the Planning Commission review the master plan every 5 years to determine whether or not they want to proceed with an update. There's no requirement that it has to update the master plan.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone have any further questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Roll call, please.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crab,
Yes.
Menser.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That makes me so happy. Item 9D, approval of purchases and payments of invoices.
Move to approve purchases and payment of invoices as presented.
Support.
Roll call, please. Anybody have any questions or comments? Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I have a comment. I took a look here at the bids, and there is a $720 difference. Now, I think that we should consider an ordinance or a resolution or something that if a bid that is local, like this one is from Warren, that's higher. If a bid is local, that we have some kind of buy local, resolution or ordinance. If the price is like, I don't know, less than 10% higher. And I just feel very strongly that we need to support the businesses here. This other company is from Loveland, Colorado. I would like to see us adopt at some point in the future, and hopefully soon, something that says we will purchase locally if all things are equal and the price is less than 10%, 20%, whatever you guys want to do, higher than the lowest bid. That's my comment.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
Just one question. Can we accept a higher bid if all things are equal, and if that's the case?
We did already.
I know we did. So I guess that's the question on this one was it just price, or was there more factors in choosing Hatch over Gem Industries?
Can Jeff speak to this one?
Jeff, can you? Because I can't.
I cannot. I'm not sure if there was any difference at all. I don't know.
I mean,
I
Denise,
don't know if it was the same or not.
Okay. I think last time, Denise, didn't we put like a caveat in, didn't we pull that, that bid and then said if all the, I think you made a motion that said like if all of the components of the bid were equal and it was just a matter of the price, then we would prefer the local company. I mean, could we do that again?
That's not what happened last time.
No, it's not.
No. I suggested last time that you table that item to get a explanation as to why they went with the higher bidder, and that was not followed, and you voted and just.
I see. Okay.
What would need to be done to put what Denise is proposing in place?
Oh, I think you would want to, you have charter provisions that mandate competitive bidding for everything, and except for certain exceptions, which are professional services and items where administration in writing advises the commission that no advantage would occur through competitive bidding. Otherwise, the charter talks about competitive bidding. It doesn't, I don't have it in front of me, but I don't believe it mandates that you have to take the lowest bid in every circumstance. It just mandates that you get bids. Therefore, I think if you want to do something like Denise is suggesting, you should look at perhaps adopting an ordinance to that effect.
Okay.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions?
No, but when can we take a look at that, of adopting an ordinance for that?
Whenever the manager wants to present one.
Sometime shortly after we have a revised budget completed.
Okay, I can live with that.
Okay. Can we have a roll call, please?
Campbell,
Yes.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Menser,
Yes.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Agenda item 10, consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Fournier,
Yes.
Hammond,
Yes.
Crop,
Yes.
Yes.
Voorhees,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Agenda and the city manager's report, please.
Thank you. I'll try to just go and hit the highlights on this. The stay home, stay safe order was extended. It's currently extended through May 15th. City buildings remain closed. We're working on a reopening plan for when the governor's order is eased. One item, I'm going to be using the emergency authority to proceed with a purchase this week. We just got bids in late today on putting in glass or acrylic or plexiglass panels across our counters, basically not as a physical security barrier, but as just a large sneeze guard is what it really amounts to. We still have the city commission vacancy. The last day for nominating petitions has been extended to April 21st. from April 21st to May 8th at 5 p.m. The court order also reduced the number of signatures to 50% of the number normally required. In Mount Clemens, that means the number has been reduced from a minimum of 40 and maximum of 100 to a minimum of 20 and a maximum of 50. And signatures can also be obtained and submitted electronically. Clerk's office will be accepting petitions by the filing deadline by appointment. If documents need to be notarized by the clerk's office or electronically placed in an envelope in the drop box, clearly marked and addressed to the city clerk. Envelope must include signed nominating petitions, notarized affidavit of identity, notarized affidavit of qualifications, and signed statement of candidacy. Please call the city clerk's office at 586-469-6818, extension 309, with any questions. We held another census box lunch event, so we had 2 in April. On the 8th, we did one at City Hall, which distributed 190 box lunches, and 110 lunches went to the residents at Clinton Place. These were provided by the Rec Bowl. And on April 22nd, the census lunch was held at Shadyside Park. Volunteers distributed census information along with 350 box lunches provided by Sam Sorianto Pizza. 2020 census lunches were a joint endeavor between the city of Mount Clemens and Macomb County. And they did aim to support residents and local vendors while promoting the Count on Macomb Census 2020. We continue to encourage residents to complete the 2020 census. And if the county does have funds available, we will try to schedule another of these events, and we will use another Mount Clemens restaurant to provide the food. Notification system, Pat tells me the text messaging side of the notification system is now running, so it's fully operational now. We really need to start promoting it. We're encouraging people to sign in. If you're looking at the agenda on the website, if you just click here, it'll take you to it. If you go to the home page, you can just go from there to the subscribe page. I've got a list of the following commission meetings and what we've already got scheduled for those meetings up through June 15th. That's something we added to the city manager's report at the last agenda, and we will continue updating that periodically. Keep in mind, though, that this is just the plan. Things often change. Items get moved from one agenda to another. Sometimes they get dropped completely. Sometimes things get added without a whole lot of notice. Thank you.
I have something to point out. You mentioned the governor extended the stay-at-home, stay safe through May 15th. If you check the minutes from our last meeting, the hazard pay motion only took the hazard pay through the month of April. I think that we need to make sure that we extend that to match the governor's order. Hello?
So is that a motion or
I guess
a general session or what's going on?
Can we make that a motion because it's not on the agenda, Mike?
You can, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think what occurred, the motion, that there was discussion prior to adopting that resolution for the month of April, where there was discussion at making that through the rescission of the governor's order, and the commission didn't approve of that. The vote was to do it just through April. So therefore, I think if that's what you want to do, I think it should be the subject of an agenda item at the next meeting.
Well, then I think that we need to put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
Sorry, I was muted. I mean, there is a procedure for that. To have that put on the next meeting. Any commissioner?
No, 2 commissioners or more.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
the commissioners are aware of that
Yes.
procedure, so.
Well, I think if 2 people agreed today, we wouldn't have to put it in writing.
I'm not, I haven't, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but I haven't heard a second person.
Support.
Okay, so hearing 2, I mean, usually the procedure is to put it in writing. Is this, Mike, is that okay if we?
I don't think it's a good practice, and I'm sure the city manager would agree with me, to come up with motions ad hoc during a meeting. You have a rules and procedures resolution that sets forth the manner in which 2 or more commissioners can have something placed on an agenda. And I think you ought to abide by that rules and procedures resolution. I don't think it's a big deal to send an email to put it on the next agenda.
Denise,
Okay.
you take that lead, just send the email.
Yep, I'll
Okay.
take care of it.
Thank you.
I sent one already too.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to public participation. Do we have anyone on the call this evening who would like to speak?
Yes, George Kale, 180 Grand Ave. I'll be brief with the 2 minutes allotted. I would like to thank everybody for keeping up a ship of state that's moving forward. And in regard to item 9C on the agenda with the contract with Parle, I think that's a reasonable cost for quite a bit of service that we'll be able to garner from that group. I'd like to compliment whoever was responsible for finding that organization and putting that into play. Kind of reminds me of the old Ben Franklin quote, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. We'll take the right measures at the right time moving forward. We've all been challenged over these last couple of months, but perseverance is key. And it was good to hear the city manager speaking about rules and procedures. The city attorney, I understand, is doing a great job also, and I do want to thank everybody and looking forward to seeing everybody in the not too distant future. Also, Commissioner Menzer had made a comment at the last city commission meeting in regard to a TIFA refund for downtown businesses. I'm hoping somebody can convey that message perhaps to Steve Staff or Mickey Weiss. That was a pretty good recommendation in regard to the challenges economically that our downtown businesses are facing. Thank you, and I appreciate the time.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to comment? Hearing none, we'll move to commissioners' comments. Commissioner Voorhees.
I certainly want to make sure that people are filling out that census form. We need to realize how important that is. So much is based on numbers, and the money coming in from the federal grants and from the state, and our representation in the state legislature and Congress all depend on that census. So please take the time to fill it out. With that, once a Clemite, always a Clemite.
Thank you. Commissioner Menzer.
So there's a couple good things for our students in Mount Clemens. There are 114 green schools in Macomb County for the 2019-2020 school year. Each year, students compete to create the logo for that year's Green Schools program. This year, Grace Gutman, an 8th grader from St. Mary's here in Mount Clemens, has created the winning logo. So congratulations, Grace. Francisca Hernandez from Mount Clemens High School, Principal Kirk Duckin. Francisca got an honorable mention for the Macomb County All Academic 2020 team. Congratulations to Francisca. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Anthony Palazzolo from Happy's Pizza. He got stiffed by a customer who ordered $150 worth of pizzas. So Anthony reached out and he was able to donate those pizzas to the Sheriff Department Dispatch Center at Comtech. Thank you, Anthony, for doing that. And those are my comments today.
Thank you. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you. Normally we get a lot more questions on the budget and some participation. So I know this is a different process and everyone needs to kind of work through it. But if there's any questions at all, please don't hesitate to email myself or the mayor or any of the commissioners for that matter. I'm sure that we can get back to you and try to help you work through that. We wish that the reduction in the mills could be more, but we still have to operate the city. And I hope it's by keeping it a level playing field to last year, it helps somewhat. With that, I hope everyone enjoyed the sunshine these last few days, even though today was 20 degrees colder. And we'll look forward to seeing you in a couple more weeks, or talking to you, I guess. And happy Mother's Day to everyone early.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Commissioner Hammond.
I would like to thank Jeff, Lisa, Kathy, and Mike for volunteering at the Census Luncheon down at Shadyside and at City Hall. I appreciate your efforts. And also, I want everyone to stay safe and continue to remember the social distancing rule. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Campbell.
Yes, I was glad to hear that the city manager is working on a reopening plan because I can't wait to finally get back to doing things the old way as opposed to through this computer. That's it.
I'm shocked. I'd like to start my comments by wishing Commissioner Mentzer a happy birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm admitting to 31. I'm admitting to 31.
What's the anniversary of the 31st birthday? Moving on, Forgotten Harvest will be at the Jermaine Jackson Community Center next Monday. There was a snafu this Monday due to some ordering not coming in and them not having enough to meet the demand at the community center. So thankfully, the sheriff helped reroute people to, there was a drop-off point at the Warren City Hall. And so they were able to get people who were waiting in line at the community center over to the Warren Community Center. So it was really great that they were able to help out and get people to the resource that they needed. But this, I've been assured by Forgotten Harvest that they will be at the Jermaine Jackson Community Center on next Monday. And so everybody should plan for that. That would be May 11th, starting at 9 a.m. Many of our churches and organizations have been really going above and beyond to help out the community. And as you know, they always play an active role, but they've just been doing some extraordinary things. And I wanted to mention a few of them. First United Methodist Church normally has a quilting club, and they stopped quilting and started making masks, and they made a bunch of masks for the homeless, but then they also went and dropped off some masks for our Dial-A-Ride riders. And I thought that was a really great use of their talents. The houses of worship, sorry, I'm going to come back to the houses of worship. The Crocker House has been doing online programming for anyone who wants to watch or participate about the history of Mount Clemens and the history of Macomb County. And, but especially they've been kind of targeting, providing resources for all the people that are doing homeschooling. And let me tell you, I've really appreciated that. So, so thank you to the Crocker House, and especially Kim Parr there. Anton Art Center has an online art exhibition happening, and it's really this unique, unique art exhibition that no one else in the area for sure is doing anything of this nature. And they allowed anyone to enter at 3 different age groups, and they received over 1,200 applications for this exhibition. So I'm really excited to see what that will bring. So make sure you check out their Facebook page. They have an adult art exhibition, a teen art exhibition, and then a youth. So that should be really exciting. And there was an entry by a Jack Kropp that I might be a little partial to. So also, I really encourage everyone on social media to share the sign up page for the text notification and email notification system. The more entries we can get, the easier it will be to, communicate with a broader group of our community. And so I think that's really important. The Houses of Worship is a group of all of our local churches that are just staying in communication with each other. And they have been since our bicentennial celebration. They've been putting on programming and meetings so that they are meeting the needs of our community, but not overlapping. It's a really great organization. And they have decided, I just set it up, sorry, hold on. They are going to participate in this Friday, bells from around the world will be ringing to celebrate the 75th anniversary of VE Day. We will be ringing the Zion bells at 2 p.m. to coincide with all of Europe at 7 p.m. So if you hear the bells ringing at 2 p.m. on Friday, it's in celebration of the 75th anniversary of VE Day. I thought we should mention that, and hopefully we're hoping that all of the churches that have bells will be participating. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.